Well, it's always a pleasure to have my man Sid and Friends in the Morning, WABC, the highest rated show in the Western Hemisphere, I think, Sid. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. What a great night. First of all, you introduced me with Earth, Wind, and Fire, which is amazing, Mark. And
Yes.
you know you're my hero, and I love you, and you're the best ever.
Likewise.
So it's an honor to be on with you on this Shabbos Friday night.
So tell me, Sid and Friends in the morning. What about Sid and Friends during the rest of the day? Who are your friends during the rest of the day?
You know, Mark, when 10 o'clock comes along, I just don't care.
You're tired. You've been up all morning and night, yeah.
All right.
What time do you get up in the morning?
3 a.m. I get up at 3 a.m.
My God,
my
that's when I'm
driver
going to bed.
picks me up. I go to bed about 9:30. My driver picks me up in Queens at 4. I get into Manhattan about 4:45, and the show starts at 6. So, you know, there are nights, Mark. I actually hosted a very big event. You love this family, Benji and Shai, for the young Jewish conservatives in Manhattan on Wednesday night. I got home at midnight, and I was up at 3. So my schedule is very difficult. I've aged about 10 years over the last 3 years.
Do you need a lot of sleep? Honestly, Sid, I get maybe 2-3 hours. That's it. It's not healthy.
No, look,
it's not healthy.
The great ones, and you just said it, you are the great one, but you, President Trump, John Katsimatidis, my boss, all incredibly successful people, and they don't sleep. So somebody sent me a study this week. They said, you know, Sid, if you don't get 8 hours of sleep every night, you're going to suffer from early dementia. And by the time they sent it to me, I forgot about it. So,
Well,
so I'm not getting that.
I hear that's true, by the way.
I know it's true. But I got to tell you this. So you know, Mark, that I come from a sports background.
Yes,
I've been
sir.
doing news talk now for the last 9 years, but I spent 16 years doing sports talk at the biggest sports stations in America, including WFAN right here in New York. So tomorrow night is the Final Four. And I must have gone to the venue for the Final Four 10 times in my career. Happens to be in San Antonio, Texas tomorrow. But you got 4 basketball teams left. Auburn University, the Florida Gators, Duke, and Houston.
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say.
You got
of the
3
coaches are
Jewish
Jewish.
coaches.
That's right. And above and beyond that, Mark, I've been doing this a long time. I've interviewed 5 presidents, every celebrity, every athlete, you name it, I've interviewed them. I am telling you, I had a conversation on my show with Auburn Tiger head coach Bruce Pearl on Wednesday.
You know he's a buddy
One
of
of
mine.
the 5 best I've ever done.
He's good. He's smart as hell, isn't he?
Mark, he knows every town in Israel. He spent more time on this phone call talking about, Judea and Samaria, talking about Edon Alexander, talking about the hostages in Gaza, as he did his point guard, Denver Jones, shutting down Walter Clayton Jr. of the Gators. He is so enthusiastic about Israel's future. And at the same time, of course, nervous. But he knows everything about that country. I was shocked.
Now, who's going to win, Sid? That's the bottom line. Now, put your expertise on the line here. Tell us who's going to win.
Mark, if I knew that, no disrespect, but I'd be in Vegas right now, and I'd be worth more money than any prince you can find in Saudi Arabia and Qatar combined. But if I have to pick it,
You have to.
All right, I think the Florida Gators are going to play Duke on Monday night, and I do think that the Duke Blue Devils will be the national champs.
Who's their coach again?
What's that?
Who's their coach again?
Duke has a guy named John Shire who played at Duke, and he's one of the 3 Jewish coaches. The only team, Mark, without a Jewish coach is Houston. You've got Bruce Pearl at Auburn, Jewish, Todd Golden at Florida, Jewish, John Shire at Duke, Jewish.
What do you think accounts for that? Just luck of the draw for them?
Oh, smarter. We know that.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Maybe. There's not a lot of Jewish coaches in college basketball.
No.
There are more than the 3 we're going to see tomorrow night, obviously. But Yeah, well, I mean, they've got great basketball teams. The truth is, those guys have had success, especially Bruce Pearl at other universities. So they're already really, really good coaches, and they've got great basketball teams. And yeah, I think it's luck of the draw, but it is what it is. 75% of the coaches in these two big games tomorrow night are Jewish. That's the bottom line.
Now, here's the thing, Sid. Actually, Jews have had a big role in basketball, professional basketball. You have Auerbach, he was Jewish. You had a number of these early players who were Jewish and early owners who were Jewish. I mean, basketball really was in its beginning, I mean, it would start in places like Brooklyn and Philadelphia and places like that in Jewish communities and some of the other communities, didn't it?
100%. In fact, there was a great player who played in college here in New York, and his name was Dolph Shays. And his son, Danny, went on to play in the NBA for the Orlando Magic for many years. But, what's funny, Mark, is whether you're talking about basketball, which is predominantly black right now, or boxing, there was a time in the early 1900s, every champ was Jewish. And then we decided, why do we want to get punched in the face? Why do we want to run up and down the court?
Well, join the mob.
Right. Let's just buy the team, make the money,
yes,
and have somebody else do all the hard work. We're very, very smart. But to your point, all kidding aside, boxing, basketball, all these sports, most of the athletes were Jewish. And, of course, that's changed over time.
And the early mobsters.
That's exactly right. And
we're Jewish.
We had some of that, right? We had guys like Meyer Lansky. We had guys like Bugsy Siegel. I mean, he'll kill you in 15 seconds.
Yeah, he's a killer.
That's when the whole transformation started to take place.
I'm sure all the non-Jews out there are really enjoying this discussion. So what do you think?
Well, look.
Okay, there's the Jews going on and on.
Look, it's what everybody's talking about these days. And, I'm trying to figure out, let's get to the biggest story in the country right now. It's not actually, for this week at least, it's not Hamas and Israel. It's not Ukraine and Russia. Explain this to me. It's the tariffs, okay?
We're here with our buddy, Sid Rosenberg, the morning man, Sid and Friends, WABC in New York. So you wanted to talk about tariffs, Sid. Go ahead.
I did. Look, I'm not freaking out. First of all, the good news is, Mark, is that I don't make a lot of money, so I don't have a lot of money to lose.
Right, yeah.
But on a serious note, I placed all my faith and all my trust in President Trump with every issue, whether it's, having a relationship with my mayor here in New York City, whether it's what he's doing in Ukraine, Israel, and here too. I placed all my trust in him. But just in case you've got one Jew hater left listening, just one, explain to me why Bibi and Israel have no tariffs on us, but we're still imposing a 17% tariff on Israel. How is that?
I don't know that either. I think they're going to ask Trump about that. What happened was 99% of the goods had no tariffs on it forever. And then the last 1%, 48 hours before what President Trump did, he said, all right, in this last 1%, we're taking off that too. I don't know. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is kind of weird. But the general tariff thing, which, obviously has the left freaking out and, they're loving every second. You have to understand, I know you know this, but your listeners know this too. The Democrat politicians, they want us to die. They want us to go broke. They would love for this to be a disaster. Now, I got bad news. It's going to be ugly, maybe 6 months, like Katie McFarland told me today. And then eventually, we're all going to be the wealthiest we've ever been. But that these Democrats would rather this go bad for 3 years and all of us die. That's 100%. What they want. They vote against us.
They're going to try and kill the tax cuts. Those are crucial to making this whole tariff scheme work. They're crucial regardless, but you got to have significant, broad tax cuts. They're running around saying it's going to create deficits. No, what creates deficits is spending. And the Democrats do it all the time, whether there's tax cuts or no tax cuts. So ignore them. They're buffoonish, absolutely buffoonish. But you've got to have significant tax cuts for the economy to be strong while you're going through this tariff issue. And then I don't know what KT's saying, and then at that point, you really have a good shot. His goal is to reindustrialize America. We can't make any ships anymore which hurts us, our Navy, our national security, our defense. Our pharmaceutical companies are fantastic. I don't attack them, but they need the elements that are produced and provided by China, for God's sakes. That's outrageous, and I can go on and on and on. And he's looking at this, and he's saying, how much longer can a great country do this? And the answer is not much longer.
And he's right, and so are you. I mean, the fact that at one point a couple of years ago, 87% of our antibiotics came from China. That is not only sickening and expensive, but incredibly dangerous. So I spoke to Ron Johnson a couple of days ago. I dropped names like Pat O'Brien, by the way. And he said to me, listen, Sid, this latest bill is not going to pass the Senate because the truth is you save about 200 bill. And there's a way we can save about 800 if we just go back to our spending days before COVID. Go back to Trump 2019, and we can do this. Now, the way Ron explained it, it sounded like we can do it for about 2 minutes. Then it sounded like pie in the sky. So it doesn't seem like
you need vote. You need what called votes, right?
What we do. Yes.
And that's their problem. They talk about this stuff, but they don't cobble together the votes, and that's great. But we don't apparently sit. And this isn't to attack any single senator or congressman, but it's one thing for them to come on our shows and talk about this stuff. How are they going to rally their fellow Republicans to do these things? They're not very good at it.
That's an understatement. They're actually really bad at it. And that's what's depressing. I mean, you expect it from the Democrats, but when Republicans in the House can't come together for an obvious common cause, and Mike Johnson's great. We love Mike Johnson. Yeah. Not his fault. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene's been coming along, but it right. really is disappointing, very disappointing.
Well, you're never disappointing. I can't wait to see you in May. We're going to our buddy Shia's bar mitzvah. We're all going to be there. By the way, are you bringing your wife? You do have a wife, right?
I have a wife. I got to tell you, Levin, first of all, she's gorgeous, and I know everybody says that about their wife. Your wife is, and she's brilliant too, great writer. I'll be married 33 years to the lovely Danielle. Yeah. So she'll be there with me at the bar mitzvah, and we can't wait to see you. We're at this big event in New York City Wednesday night, and all they're talking about is Mark Levin. I'll tell you one quick story on the way out. Christian says to me, I'm in Florida last week at a big event for ZOA with Mark Levin, and they're talking about Sid Rosenberg. I said, come on. Now, that's a big, big deal, Mark, no?
You're loved. You're loved. All right, buddy. And God bless you, and we appreciate it. Love you too, man. You take care of yourself.
You keep being great every night. And Rich, I love you too. See you, boys.
My producer. He is the best. He's been with me every day since I started this. He really is fantastic. All right, man. God bless you. Thank you. I always got to get some Sid every month. You know what I mean? I got to hear from Sid. He grounds me. He's a good man. He's a great guy.